editing Mimi is not gonna have a good time. Look at the sprayed edges. Rowan's a pretty good guy if you take away his serial killer-esque vibes. Do you know the anger I'm feeling? And now I'm just resorting to my books because I've given up on my manga because I have. Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought it is the perfect time to do my reading vlog. I'm gonna try to do these reading vlogs maybe, I want to say, once a month at least. I think that they are super fun and I'm always having a lot of books to read. Just having everybody along with the ride, talking out my thoughts and my process of reading it just seems so much fun to me. I really loved editing the last one, so here we are again. So this week is going to be my edition of will Mimi finish all these books before they're due? All these books are library loans and I have a bunch of library loans on my Kindle right now and I'm trying to finish them before they're due, which is on May 28th or the 27th. So wish me luck. I have quite a bit to go through. I'm gonna quickly go through all the ones that I have on my Kindle right now and then we can get started. The first book is Butcher Blackbird. I'm going to be reading this book first. The next book on my TBR list is Beach Read and it is by Emily Henry. After Happy Place, I am super invested into Emily Henry's books because she has such a form of writing that is so realistic and so relatable that I really find myself enjoying her book. And then afterwards I have Under the Influence. I actually have zero idea why I borrowed this book. I don't even know what it's about, but it was in my Libby queue, and if it was in my Libby queue, surely I was interested in it at some point, so I'll be reading that eventually. I don't think it's going to be my third read. It might be my fourth or fifth read. It's not high up in the tier for me right now since I don't know what it's about and I'm not exactly 100% invested in the plot yet. The last book I have on my Kindle is Divine Rivals. I've heard nothing but good things about Divine Rivals. I believe it's supposed to be romantasy, but I'm not sure. I know it's completely fantasy. Sorry, not completely fantasy. I know it's a fantasy book and there should be romance towards the end of the book, but I'm not sure how much romance there is. But after The Cruel Prince, I have finally decided that any fantasy book I read is going to have to be ebook or physical copy versus audiobook because I don't think I can keep up with all the little details if I don't have the actual words in front of me. And I believe I have one more in my Libby queue that I have not transferred over to my Kindle because I don't want the books to disappear. I actually have my Kindle on airplane mode right now because I heard that if you put it on airplane mode, you can actually return the book early so the next person can get it. So that's what I've been doing. Let me quickly get the name of the book that I have on my Libby queue and then we can get started in reading. So the last book I have in my Libby queue is Part of Your World and it is by Abby Jimenez. You already know I've only heard great things about Abby Jimenez, so I'm really excited to read it. That means I have book 1 and book 2 as part of the, I want to say the series, but I'm not 100% certain. I think they're supposed to take place within the same universe and some people suggest that I should read it in order. I'm not 100% sure what order I'm going to read it in. I know previously I said that whatever comes in first, I'll read it first, but at this moment I have both of them with me so I can make that decision myself. And with that, let's just get into cranking out these books because I have a lot of pages to read, so we'll see how far I get by the end of the night. And today is Saturday. I have a lot of things to do this weekend actually. So today we celebrated my 7-year anniversary with my husband. We haven't been married 7 years, that's just how long we've been together. And then we are going to celebrate his birthday tomorrow. On top of that, tomorrow is Pokemon Go's community day and I want to be a part of that. I've been helping out with events here and there, so you guys will probably, maybe I'll insert a couple of clips of me at the park playing Pokemon Go. And yeah, let's just get right into the reading vlog. Okay, I figured I should post-edit add this, and it is basically a warning for whenever I'm going to have a spoiler. Whenever I'm going to have a spoiler, you'll hear this sound right here, along with a large image on the side saying spoiler warning, so you know exactly when I'm currently talking about a spoiler to a book. I am also thinking about adding a progress bar and a countdown so you guys know exactly how long the spoiler is going to be and you guys can skip ahead to the next section. But we'll see what post-editing Mimi will do. But for sure, if you hear the bell sound and the spoiler text on the screen, it means I'm currently talking about a spoiler and you guys can go ahead and just skip to the next section of the video if you guys don't want to hear the spoiler. Whenever the video does not have that little icon, it means that it's spoiler free. excuse me, I'm literally reading this, and this man says, and Rowan literally says, want to get lunch. You see a woman inside of a little bird cell, basically, with maggots eating another dead body, and your first thought is to say, want to get lunch? That's, even I'm as a reader, I'm reading this, I'm grossed out, but I guess that's just in his line of duty. He's just so used to it. But I was just like, no way, no shot he actually says, want to get lunch. I don't know how I thought they were gonna meet and how their interaction is actually gonna go, but that, I'm literally just 5% into the book, and that was wild to me. I'm already loving the book, and it's only been 5% in, so I'm super excited. Alright, it is now Monday afternoon, and I figured I should give you guys a little bit of an update on how my reading adventure has been so far, and it has not been that great. This weekend was a lot more hectic than I imagined. I think I only got about 30 or so pages actually read and was able to sit down and read. I'm sure you saw it in my little clips. I was running around all weekend because it was my husband's birthday and also our 7-year anniversary, and also the Bunsweet Pokemon Go community day. So I was running around all day this weekend, and I'm a little bit frazzled out, but I'm so invested in Butcher and Blackbird. It is such a good book. I can already see that this is going to be a very close 5-star read for me. And I'm only like 40% into the book, so I have really high hopes and expectation for the book. The character interaction between Sloane and Rowan is just beautiful. It does not feel rushed at all. It's definitely a very, very realistic and well-paced book, at least as well-paced as it could be for a serial killer vibe book, because we're not serial killers, so I don't really know how their pacing should be, but I think it's pretty realistic, and I am thoroughly enjoying the book so far. I know I said I wanted to get through my Libby loans this weekend, and while I did not do that, I definitely did wrap up and finish listening to Sociopath. Sociopath is a autobiography slash memoir from the perspective of a diagnosed sociopath. This book was actually recommended to me by Ellen Made Book Club. I'll have her information in the description of the cards. And I cannot tell you how fascinated I am about that book and how informative it was, just because it gave me light to a different perspective. A lot of the times, as society, we really do view sociopath in a bad light, especially from all the media that we consume, because most of the time when you hear the word sociopath, it has a negative connotation to it. And Patrick, the author, was able to really shed light on being someone who is a sociopath, but not necessarily a bad person or someone we would just automatically assume as a sociopath or a criminal. And I really liked the perspective that she gave, and it was very insightful. I know her original take on writing this memoir was to help other diagnosed sociopaths have some direction and sense on where they could be in their life, and that they are not just criminals, and that they have more dimensions to them than what we see on TV and what the papers say about them. To be honest, in her book, she really shed light on the fact that there isn't enough published research on sociopaths, and they do end up getting grouped with other forms of diagnoses, and there's not enough information on them. I really enjoyed her writing. She is a spectacular recorder and a writer, the story just has so much flow to it and everything just connected and made sense. I thoroughly enjoyed reading her book, and I highly recommend anyone who wants to read the book to read it, especially if you're just interested in a whole different lens and perspective of the world, because the story really goes through and show you who she is as a person who is a diagnosed sociopath, and I really enjoyed that. So overall, I would still say it's been a successful weekend, but this week I am determined to crank out as many books as possible from my Libby loan so I can get started on all the Abby Jimenez books, because every time I hear anyone talk about Just for the Summer or Abby Jimenez, it's all been 5-star rating and people find it so emotional, so funny, and like invokes a lot of emotion out of you, and I want to experience that. So here's to finishing all the books I have on my TBR for this month. Okay, so it has been a couple of days. Today is Wednesday afternoon since I did the last check-in, and I thought it would be a good time to kind of tell you guys how my progress is going. I really thought I was going to be able to finish most of my library books, which in hindsight, I realized how ridiculous that is, especially since my weekend was so packed. And then this upcoming weekend is also really packed. So I just realized that I am a full-fledged clown. I did not even think for a second how busy I was going to be. So there's that. I am really hoping to finish 2.5 books this week then, instead of the 5 books I was thinking about. But even reflecting back on my comment of saying maybe I'll power through all my library books this week, yeah, absolutely not. I looked back at all my graphs and I probably read an average of 100 pages a day on my good days and 200 to 300 pages if I'm like really powering through and I don't have anything else to do. So me saying I'll read 5 books in a week where I'm so busy is kind of clown on my part. So you know what? We're just gonna ignore that. And let me give you an update on Butcher and Blackbird, because right now I'm at 71%. And guys, I really am praying that the 3rd act breakup isn't going to be ridiculous, because right now this book is at a solid 5-star for me. I thought going in, because they were both serial killer, that the book was going to be extremely dark, and that is definitely not the case. It is pretty lighthearted, but I would say there are instances that will probably make you want to vomit and gag, because, excuse me, Rowan ate human ass and then proceeded to pass out and almost choke on it. So Sloan has to pull it out of his mouth, and I'm like, what did I had to like reread that line like 2 times. So when they finally go back into the back kitchen to talk to their witness, David, who is unfortunately been lobotomized, I believe. So he can't really talk. David's over there just munching on ice cream, and the description of it was just like normal, but I knew since it was the cannibal's house that it wasn't going to be normal ice cream. But you're telling me that it was not, it was secretion of a man in that ice cream? Rowan said he could not eat ice cream after that incident in the book, and you know what? Me neither, brother, because I can't look at ice cream the same way right now, even though I wasn't even there. I just read it off the page, but I was shook. I sent that picture to my friends on Discord and they were all like, what in the are you reading? Shrugs, man, shrugs. all adult books, all fun and games. I swear, it's a good book. Please read it. Me trying to convince all my friends that this book is actually really good, but they're not having it. And it might be my fault because I showed them that particular line where the ice cream is made out of men's secretion. So I guess that's on my part. That is currently where I'm at in the book. Okay, no, that's not where I'm currently at. I'm way farther than that. I'm currently at their 4th year and they finally got together. They just banged it out, except they decided to have their first kiss in the middle of a hunt where there's like a crazy machine man running around trying to find them and trying to kill people. And I'm like, you guys need to have a better time and place. But I suppose it would make sense since they're both serial killers. So maybe it's romantic for them. I'll give them that. But I was just like, no, time and place. Please don't just hung each other in the middle of a scene where you guys both might die. The girl already almost died. That's probably why they were just kissing each other, because they had like a life-death experience. But man, that's just, you need to protect your girl. And in order to do that, your tongue shouldn't be in her mouth. That's just what I'm saying. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm having a great time with this book. I am thoroughly enjoying it. So I'm definitely going to try to finish it tonight and then move on to Divine Rivals for the rest of the week, and hopefully be able to pick up Beach Read towards the end of the week. Maybe like the first, I don't know, maybe not half a book, maybe like a third of a book. Send me all your reading charms. I'm gonna need it if I want to get all these books returned before they are due, or get all these books returned before I get the newest book from my Libby, which is the Abby Jimenez Part of Your World book, before that one's due to be returned, because I definitely want to read that book. All right, now that I kind of talked about my reading adventures with Butcher and Blackbird, let's talk about my book haul. And it is this beautiful stack right here. Will it focus on the books? I think it did. I know that I said in my library lover book tag that I'm trying to be more conscious about the books that I purchase, and that is exactly what I'm doing. Hear me out. Hear me out. I can't believe I'm trying to make excuses for myself for purchasing books, but I bought these at Costco. You can see it with the little tag at the top. I purchased these at Costco, and if you are looking for a good deal, go to your local Costco. Check out the books at your local Costco because they are ridiculously marked down. I believe this book is $11.50 and the retail price for it is $19. That is approximately 30% off, which is normally how much books cost if they go on sale at Target. And with this, you don't even need to wait for it to go on sale. You can just go into your Costco and everything should be marked down already. So that is amazing. I think Costco generally have books that are super popular or popular new releases. So over here we have Emily Henry's Funny Story. I believe this came out this month, and you can see that I got it for $17.50. The retail price for this is, I believe, $29. Yeah, $29. I got it for $17.50. I know that I'm going to read this book eventually, and I really enjoyed Happy Place. I believe in my April wrap-up, I gave it a 4.5 stars. Honestly, it could even be a 5-star read for me. I honestly love how much depth there is to Emily Henry's character and just how much I related to the story in Happy Place, especially with the friendship dynamic. So I really enjoyed her book, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna pick this one up because I've only heard great things about it, and I really like the depth of the characters in Emily Henry's book. So I'm for sure going to enjoy it. And this is like more than $10 off, so it's more than 30% off. So it's a huge steal. Okay, the next book I picked up is more for vanity reasons, and let me show you why. I picked up Five Broken Blades. I actually heard about this from the Bookish Daddy. Literally, I watched this video. He just like uploaded a video about his book haul. Casually watched it. I saw this book in his book haul, and I was telling him it's beautiful. It's so freaking beautiful, right? And then I'll tell you why. Look at the sprayed edges. All right, that's not it. That's not it. Look at the inside cover. Like, it is gorgeous. Okay, but that's not all. Let me take the protective sleeve out and then look at the actual cover inside. This is probably the prettiest book I own. It just is. But I'm not gonna say that I only got it for vanity reason. It is definitely the first book that I have picked up where I didn't know or have not extensively watched a video about the book. I figured this edition is so beautiful. I got it for $19.50 and I believe the retail price is $33. So I was like, that's a steal.
deal. And the synopsis of this, crazy. It's romantasy meets assassins. There's like 5 assassins trying to like the king, I believe. I love that. It sounds so good. It says, it's the season for treason. The king of Yusan must die. I believe this is supposed to be a romantasy assassin set place in Korea kind of deal. And I haven't read anything that has set place in Asia recently. So I think it would be a very interesting read. So that's my attempt into talking myself into buying this book for vanity reason. I mean, come on, look at it. It's beautiful. It's precious. I think I'm also going to be buying protective sleeves for the dust jacket just because I don't want the dust jackets to get messed up. I'm one of those people who really like to keep my dust jackets and my covers to be really clean. So I might do it just for my own sake because I know I bend these extremely easy. Like whenever I read a book that has a dust jacket in the past, I would only read it like with just the actual physical book rather than with the dust jacket because I find that I always end up ripping it. So I might get a plastic protective sleeve for all the dust jackets that I have for the future. And with that, that is it for this update. I think what I'm gonna do next is edit the vlog because last time I left it up until Saturday night. I usually try to post my videos on Sunday morning. So I left it for Saturday night and guess who stayed up till 4 in the morning to finish editing everything? This girl right here. So not gonna happen again on my watch. We're gonna go, I'm gonna bust out my DaVinci Resolve. We're gonna edit. I'm gonna have some clips of me editing and then maybe more clips of me finishing Butcher and Blackbird. I will finish this tonight. There will be more clips of me reading this tonight.
So I haven't done an update in a while, so you guys probably got a lot of vlog footage, but I wanted to update that I finished Butcher and Blackbird and I'm currently 61% into Divine Rivals. It is Saturday afternoon-ish, early afternoon, and I'm hoping to finish Divine Rivals tonight and wrap up this vlog and publish this vlog by Sunday morning. I'm not gonna get through the, I don't know, 2.5 book I talked about in the middle of the week, but I'm still pretty positive, especially since Sunday I don't have anything. Monday is my day off, it's Memorial Day, so that means I'll have a lot of time to be able to just sit down and just read all my books and just relax. I think I'm also going to try to pre-film a couple of videos so that I don't always have to stress last minute like this. So yeah, really quick update. Divine Rivals, this is the epitome of a really gentle and nice slow burn. I'm living for these two characters. It's not a book that I thought I would like, but it came through on my Libby and I know it was very popular. It won some awards for young adult fantasy, and I don't know, you guys know me, I love my romance, I love my adult books, but Divine Rivals, just something so whimsical about it. It feels very realistic but also kind of whimsical. It has that olden historical vibe, war front, destined lover kind of vibes to it. I don't know how to describe it. I'm only 61% in, so I'm not really deep into the books yet, but I'm super invested in the plot between Roman and Iris. It's their love is definitely a slow burn, and I just can't wait to see what happens when she finds out that the anonymous typewriter is Roman. But it's also giving me PTSD flashback from Mr. Wrong Number. So I'm just hoping it's nothing gonna be like that. I don't even think that their romance is the super forefront of the situation, since it is about like an ongoing war between the gods and how the civilians are playing a role in it, and these two are just aspiring journalists. Not even aspiring, they are journalists who are just writing stories about what's happening in the war front, and I guess they'll just bond over that. They already have that little love tension going on, but she's kind of torn because she has feelings for the person that she's anonymously writing to, but also she has like this tension with Roman and she doesn't really know what to do with that. So I'm excited to see what happened. I'm gonna try to finish this novel by the end of today. I'm pretty hopeful since I started out today at 29% and I'm already at 61%, and I still have like a lot of hours to go to finish this novel. I think I'll probably stay up until like 11 to finish this if I need to, and then from 11 to like 2 a.m. finish editing my video, because this time, I already said it before, I started editing early. I just need to put the last minute clips together and then I'm good to go. Also, for the people who read manga, specifically Jujutsu Kaisen, are you as mad as I am right now? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the anger I'm feeling? And now I'm just resorting to my books because I've given up on the manga, because I have. And with that about wraps up my little update. I will see you guys in a little bit for my full review on all the books I read and what I rated on the books. Probably gonna be all 5 stars. It's been a pretty good week reading so far, and I'm super excited to share with you what my opinions and my thoughts on the books.
Alright, so it's that time where I review the books that I read for the whole week. I finished 3 books this week. I finished Sociopath, I finished Butcher and Blackbird, and Divine Rivals. And this week has been so good. Like, it's been very good, extremely good. I rated all those 5 stars in the moment. As of right now, I think Butcher and Blackbird has been bumped down to 4.75, but it's still a very solid rating in my opinion. I'm just astounded at how high of a rating this week was. I was fully immersed in all 3 of those books throughout the whole week. I thoroughly enjoyed every single one of them for a whole variety of reasons. So let's get started. All right, the first book I finished, and I already gave a little bit of a blurb about it earlier on in the video, and it is Sociopath. Sociopath is a autobiography / memoir of a person who is a diagnosed sociopath. I rated it 5 star because it was such an amazing read. Just from the storyline alone, I was so encapsulated by her life and her decision and her choices. experiences, I was rooting for her lover. Like, it's supposed to be an autobiography, but when I read it, or rather listened to it, because she has such an amazing voice, I was really able to immerse myself into the story that she was telling. And I think that's what really stood out to me in the book. I just felt like I was there along the way with her. Now, I actually talked about this memoir slash autobiography with my husband, and he actually raised a pretty good question saying, if she's a sociopath, aren't they known to be liars? And that the fact that she addresses it in her book, like she knew what the majority of the population was going to think. Why should we trust this book? Because it's written by a sociopath, and she addresses it in the book pretty straight on, and I love that. I think it gives definitely a different perspective when you're reading it. Of course, maybe some things were stretched out, some things were lie. We as readers would never really know, and it's up to us to take a look at what she presents and see if we believe it ourselves. I'm personally on the stance that even if the stories are stretched a little bit to the truth, I think the conversation still holds, and it's that there is not enough discussion about sociopath. They are generally grouped with psychopath and anti-personality disorders. They are not recognized, and a lot of the times there's bad stigma around them, and she's just trying to change that. She's trying to bring hope to those who are diagnosed as sociopath, to show them that it doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. And for that book was just something else. It was a lot of food for thought. I gave it 5 stars, and as I said previously, this was a recommendation by LMA Book Club, so thank you so much for the great recommendation. I thoroughly loved it, and I think I'm going to buy a physical copy of the book just so I could read through it again and see what she's exactly trying to say and how her words and her experiences are meant to help other sociopaths. I don't know. I think the world of psychology is just fascinating, and I love to learn more about those stuff, so it was a really good read. Okay, now let's move on to my 2 library loans for the week. The first one being Butcher Blackbird. What do I feel about this book? I said it before, I rated it 4.75, but I'll round it up to 5 stars since at the time, I really enjoyed it. It is straight up a romantic comedy. I do not care what the genre tag says. It's a romantic comedy, okay? It talks about these 2 serial killers meeting each other. It's kind of love at first sight, but I generally don't mind that. I just think that their interaction and the banter and the wit is just there for me. The chemistry was there, and Rowan just seems like such a good male lead. He will kill for her, and that's it, period. All right, I know that a lot of people can see this as a dark romance, but I do not see it that way at all. For all intents and purposes, Rowan's a pretty good guy if you take away his serial killer-esque vibes. And I feel like a lot of the times when I think of dark romance, I think of them as being extremely morally, okay, maybe this is saying something about myself, because why am I thinking that serial killer and Rowan does not equal morally gray? I'm gonna let that sink in for myself a minute here. Let's just move on. But aside from that fact, I don't actually see this being very dark. There's not a lot of, okay, maybe there is a lot of gore. Okay, maybe I can see why it's a dark tag, but I don't know. I just had so much fun with it. I couldn't see it as being dark. I never felt like very intense in the moment and afraid, which is maybe I just don't know what dark romances are. We're just gonna shelve that. I have a dark romance per recommendation from another YouTuber that I am gonna read in June, so maybe I'll be able to compare that to this and we'll really know what's up. But moving on from the dark romance comedy genre scope aside, I really enjoyed this book. I really liked the character interaction. I really just loved how humorous it was. It was a very light-hearted read. I just can just sit there at my desk, read, and laugh at the passages that are on the screen because it was just so freaking funny. The only reason now at this time I'm reflecting back and I'm bumping it down to a 4.5, 4.75 stars is the fact that I felt like Sloane wasn't given enough character development, or she wasn't given enough backstory. There is backstory on her and what has happened to her, and she feels that she cannot be loved. That's why she's flighty. That's why she's called Blackbird. But I don't know. I wish we got to meet her parents or the interaction with the parents so we can really see what's happening to her. I felt like Rowan had a lot more character depth than she did, and that is the only issue I had. I wouldn't even say it's issue because at the time I don't think it really bothered me, but looking back I feel like I wish I knew more about Sloane aside from the fact that she got into the serial killer business because of something that happened to Lark and she felt the need to rid the world of evil men. And you know what, that's fine by me. And yeah, that is probably my opinion on Butcher and Blackbird. It's a great time, it's a great ride. I can see why it was hyped. It is as good as people say it's to be. I'm a Criminal Mind girly, so I'm not gonna lie, when they started working together and he says that you should be devolving instead of evolving, I was just thinking into my head that evolving is still a thing. And if they see your evolution, the fact that you have color in your life, like I could just imagine like Spencer from Criminal Minds just being like, she's evolving, she's adding color to her art. That means she has met someone in her life that's bringing this light to her, and then they can narrow it down. Now her age demographic might shrink a little bit. And then I believe she used to hunt in a specific area, but now she's living with him. Her hunting area might collide with the butcher. So I'm just saying, the Criminal Mind girly in me is just like, I feel like them getting together is actually risking them getting caught. So I don't know. The book kind of just ended there. Oh, but the one thing I was really, really worried about was the third act breakup. I am so happy that the third act breakup didn't really exist. There was a major plot point that happened near the end of the book where the third act breakup does happen. And technically, the third act breakup did happen, but it wasn't in a way where I was upset. I think it made sense. I truly thought it made sense. So I was okay with it. And then the rest of the book was just fluff, pure fluff. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So you know what? That's why I gave it such a high rating. Now let's talk about the third book of the week, and the book that I literally just finished an hour ago. So it's right on top of my head, but I can't seem to put together the phrases and my thoughts on this book because it was so good. I am just trying not to just insta purchase the next book of the series. It's so good. Do you guys remember when I talked about the feeling I had about A Touch of Darkness in my April monthly wrap up? But basically I said that I had such an emotional high from what happened in A Touch of Darkness for the plot, and I was hoping that that high will carry over to the next book. But what happened was that the author in The Touch of Darkness resolved it at the last 5 pages of the book, and it made me just put the book down and the series down. I didn't feel the need to read the next book. However, this is not the case with Divine Rival because she left me on a cliffhanger. I said a plot hanger. On a cliffhanger that just makes me want to read the next book so badly because I want to know what happened to my boy. I want to know what happens to their relationship. And I think the next book is really going to talk more about the magic and the world that this is taking place in. And maybe we'll learn more about the gods themselves in the next book. The first half of the book felt very airy and whimsical. I'm not even sure if whimsical is the right word. My ESL is coming in to kick me because I don't know enough words to describe how I'm feeling when I read the book, but it felt very airy. It felt very light. Even though there's a war going on, you're following this character named Iris and her day-to-day life and her struggles as a war breaks out in the East. Is it the East? The West? I already forgot. I literally just finished the book. I think she's situated in the East, so they should be the West of her. Yeah. Sorry, I literally have to do the never eat soggy waffle to figure out my coordinates. Okay, no, that's not the point of this video. I felt so much connection to Iris as a character and to Roman as a character because of the way they're written. You see glimpses of their life and their interaction with their family, and then you learn about the struggles that they go through, and then you feel the emotional breakdown when Iris loses her mom, doesn't know where her brother is, and she decides to go on to the war front. And I love the romance between Roman and Iris. They're almost like fated lovers who are bound to meet each other and their paths collide, but now they're just in a really bad situation where I don't know what's gonna happen and I want to know what's gonna happen. I'm not even gonna lie, I have no idea how I'm gonna edit this because I'm having such a hard time describing how much I enjoy Divine Rivals. And the reason why this book has enchanted me so much was that it was able to give this historical vibe sprinkled with a little bit of magic, sprinkled with a little bit of romance, and then suspense into it and mystery. I don't know. There's just so much about this book that I cannot describe. I also really appreciated the author for not making a big deal out of the anonymous aspect of the writing. This is the same situation if you were to compare Mr. Wrong Number and this novel with, where the girl didn't know who she was writing to and the guy does. And in this case, there was no big explosion. I can't give too much detail because I feel like I'm going to spoil it like I kept doing previously, but I highly recommend this. I haven't been so invested in a book and in 2 characters as I have been as of right now. I just want to know what happens to them as a couple because the ending left us in such a gray area that we don't know what's going to happen to either of them. So highly recommend picking up that book. All right, if you guys have made it this far with all my rambling about Divine Rivals and how much I like it, thank you so much. I know that this video is probably extremely long, so thanks for bearing with me. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. If you don't know what to comment, you can always put a lipstick. I'll have the emoji on the screen somewhere. Put a lipstick in the comment if you guys don't know what to comment. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!